any ideas of how to keep people to shut their mouths and keep their phones in their pockets outside of an Australian actor telling you with his metallic claws that can be easily turned into Heineken cans? If you've seen the commercial, you know what I'm talking about.
You just hear duct tape in the background, just like...
Maybe just play the audio of that. It's like, there's no one there, but there could be. Hello and welcome to Cassette Take, where you can eject wherever you want, but please don't forget to rewind. I'm Ethan.
I'm Annmarie.
And we don't have a movie to review for you guys, so that's the end of this episode.
All
Thank
right,
you for
bye,
joining.
guys.
No, we don't have a review, but, you guys seem to like the last thing we did where we just went over some news topics and, had a good conversation. So, we figure we go that route again here.
And we enjoy it, too, so...
Yes. So, skipping on to our first topic here. Annmarie, how are you?
Wow, this is so different. We usually don't do this. I got my nails done. No, kidding.
You're still cool. Look at them.
Cool.
Yeah.
I'm doing... You're really throwing me off.
Yeah, we're starting out a little wholesome here.
Yeah, how are you?
Do it well, especially since we watched My Adventure, not Your Adventures. They're exclusively My Adventures with Superman.
Okay, whatever. Show off.
Go from wholesome to assertive real quick. Yeah, no, we just watched the first 2 episodes of My Adventures with Superman.
Season 2.
Yeah, season 2.
Which is such... Oh, man, I love this show. I really hope, they get more seasons to this, because James Gunn kind of had discussed that the movie and TV universe are going to connect. So I know some shows are getting canceled, like Superman and Lois, for instance, is getting canceled. But I really like this Superman, so I really hope it, stays in the realm of this world.
Yeah, it could be an Elseworld kind of thing. If people like it, why would they stop it? And if it's getting the viewership that they want, then yeah, proceed forward.
Oh my god, wait, I totally forgot they were doing Elseworld, so that makes so much sense.
Otherwise they wouldn't be doing the Batman, and I would march into Warner Brothers.
Are we ever gonna get the Batman though? It got pushed to 2026, so it might be another 5 years.
You know what? I think we will. It doesn't matter. It's so good. It's so good. Do not take a project away from what's his name, the cinematographer?
What's
his name? Fraser.
Yes.
Greg Fraser, right?
Yes.
Yeah. If you take a project away from him, just don't. You messed up. You messed up.
You messed up big.
Yeah. So, I agree with you. This show is really delightful. It's fun. My Adventures with Superman season 1, I was really caught off guard. I was surprised by it. And it was just so interesting. It felt like Avatar: The Last Airbender meets Superman, kind of meets a little hints of Invincible here and there. And I was first few episodes casually watching it and this is fine. It's keeping my interest, but I'm not gung-ho about it. By the end of it, I'm wow, this was really enjoyable. I was not expecting to go from the full season, first episode to the last one, and now we're on season 2, and these first 2 episodes, I gotta say, I'm liking a lot better as we go on.
I liked the hook to it too, which I know we're not saying spoilers just yet, but I like the hook to it. As a fan of Superman and Lois Lane, we just did a video about this recently. I really love how comic accurate this is, and just the storylines that were in season 1 that played out. And I was super excited. We did not know what we were going to watch today. And then we just found out season 2 was out, and we're okay, let's watch it. So I really love Lois Lane in the show.
Oh my gosh, she is wonderful.
She is done so well. James Gunn, I know you're shooting Superman right now, but if you can take hints of Lois Lane, I'm excited for Rachel Bronson. Yes, I'm excited for her take, but I love Lois in this show.
Yeah, she's actually become one of my new animation crushes.
Oh,
she's wonderful.
Add her to the list. That's
Yeah, her new design, it's not the traditional one where it's white, black hair and all that.
Yeah.
But, for some reason, like, just her personality, with this design, it just, like, meshes so well together where I'm like, I like this version of Lois quite a bit. I'm not sure how controversial a statement that is, but I really am digging this version of Lois to the point where it might be better than what we, grown up with and all that. I don't know. Maybe I'm not too much of a Superman, not like a knowledgeable person. So I don't know.
Yeah. I like, you know what? It kind of, the show reminds me a lot of Smallville in a way, just like the short stories and everything. Obviously, it's a little bit different because we actually have Superman in this too. But yeah, I really enjoy it.
So. Yeah, you were talking about like how accurate it is to the comics, but also it does go out of its way to add some new elements to it to kind of be its own thing. And there was one element in particular where you're like, oh, this is different in the comics, so I'm wondering how this is going to go later on. If you watch the show, you'll figure that out as we go with season 2. But there's only 2 episodes out as of the time we're recording this. And, it's just a very interesting thing, and we're going to see where it goes from here.
Yeah. Can I talk about it?
Yeah, I guess it's a minor spoiler, but like for the next 30 seconds, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, spoiler for My Adventures Superman.
Okay, spoilers right now. It's interesting because they are introducing Supergirl Kara, but they introduce her as a baby getting taken from Krypton, which is different in the comic books because in the comic books, she's like a teenager and all that. And so she doesn't have the same love of humans that Superman does. She actually ends up being a Red Lantern. Like, she gets so angry a Red Lantern comes to her in the comic book.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. And so I have a theory. My theory is we get introduced to Amanda Waller. I have a theory that Amanda Waller already knows who Supergirl is, and she has her under control, or like not even like mind control or anything, but like, yeah, you hate humans, we're gonna use you to our advantage.
That's interesting.
Wouldn't that be cool?
That would be neat, like him having to... What if it's her, like, replacing, what's his name that he kills in Man of Steel?
Zod?
Is that what if instead of Zod, it's like...
Oh, that would be wild.
That would be wild. Obviously, hopefully with less neck snapping, but,
It's fine. But that's what Supergirl is. She does not care about human life. And so it'll be interesting if they go that way. Like, I don't want a CW Supergirl. Like, I want like a Red Lantern kind of Supergirl.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So it makes sense though. Like, if you didn't grow up with humans, like, you have no place in this world. So
yeah. I mean, I feel bad for, anyone that just casually has that problem if you haven't grown up on Earth.
Ethan, you trying to tell me something? You have not grown up on Earth?
Not alien Annmarie.
Stop punching through the wall.
Yeah. By the way, like there's a good amount of comedy in this show, and it's wonderful. Like, honestly, I really like the dynamics between characters and just
Jimmy.
Jimmy is great. His net worth constantly going down. I don't think that's how net worth really works, but it's funny. I like how it continues on into the next episode.
It's his bank account.
But it says net worth. Net worth, bank account, same thing with Jimmy.
It makes
sense. Yeah. Hey, have you guys seen My Adventures with Superman and Lois? Have you started to watch the second season? Are you guys liking it? Are you hating it? Digging it? Do you think that it should be moved from Elseworlds into the main thing?
Ooh.
Which honestly would not make sense now that I'm thinking about it and saying it out loud. But either way,
it's fine.
Either way, hey, let us know your thoughts, your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. All right, skipping on to our next topic here. Annmarie.
Yes.
That's you.
Yes.
We just finished watching streaming.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's talk about our second favorite home. The theater.
Oh, the movie theater.
Yes, and what the hell is going on there?
I I feel like this is playing off our Fall Guy episode. Watch it if you want full context, where we kind of made fun of little kids talking in the movie theater. Oh man, what happened to movie etiquette? Like, actually, what happened? And I don't mean to be like just bitching about this the whole time, but like, really, like, when did it become okay for people to talk in a movie theater or to look at your phone during a movie theater? Like, Ethan and I see plenty of movies, and it always surprises me that it still happens.
Yeah, carrying on from that, it's just the whole theater experience. Like, that's really been keeping a lot of people. I've talked with a lot of people that only watch streaming stuff now. They haven't gone to the theater in like maybe a decade almost. And they're saying, one of the main reasons is because they just can't take paying that much money and then going in for this, experience of being immersed into this theater, this world, the story, the visual effects and all that. And they aren't able to because either someone's on their phone or like someone can't get their kids under control, but they're not leaving the movie theater. And, even then if you say, hey, you could probably just go to the manager afterwards and be like, hey, get a free movie ticket. It's like, yeah, but I want to see the movie the first time, without having to worry about that. So that within itself is keeping people away from the theaters. And I think it's gotten better in recent years, but, there's a lot of problems going on with people like staying away from the theaters. And that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Well, it also sucks because people speak to Hollywood with their wallets.
Yes.
Right? And so we have seen some great movies this year, some great epics this year. Dune Part 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Furiosa. But even for these smaller movies that have like a lesser so budget and everything, people aren't going to see. And it just really sucks that the movie theater experience is just like not as great anymore. I want to quote Shepard Book from Firefly.
Again.
There's a special place in hell for child molesters and people who speak in the movie theater. He is so right. I don't get it. I really don't get it.
Yeah, it's especially if you've like paid that much money for it. Listen, I don't think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but my most memorable experience with someone talking at theater is with the first Avengers movie. Yeah. So my brother, and I, during that time, we didn't really go to too many theaters, just him and I. He had just recently gotten his license, I believe, at the time. And so it's like, hey, this Avengers movie, like, it's this really cool event. And I didn't really know too much about it at the time, me being in my own world. And he's like, hey, let's go. So he drives us over there. The movie starts. And it's about like maybe 10, 15 minutes in. And this guy comes walking in. And this is during that era, like, I believe, where you didn't really need to pre-order your seats. I could be wrong. Yeah. But like they're, you could really just, anyone could walk in and not really have too much of a concern. And so this guy, picks like out of this theater that had a lot of seats. Like, it was still a pretty full theater, but there were a lot of empty seats too. He decides to sit right next to me, and he reeks of alcohol. Oh. Absolutely reeks of alcohol. And man, he just he enters it and he starts talking to me. He's like, hey, what'd I miss? I'm like, my guy, you missed the first 10 minutes. I'm not going to explain it to you right now.
And you're like a little kid too.
Yeah, like I'm like
12, 13.
Yeah, something like that. So, I'm just like, what? Dude, and so I like gave him like a quick rundown, like, because I was just being nice. I was being nice, but I was like doing that thing where it's like obviously kind of showing I'm visually annoyed.
Yeah.
And so he's like, okay, cool. And then, okay, we're enjoying the movie, right? 10 to 15 minutes later, his phone goes off, and I'm just like, really? And here's the thing, though. He picks up his phone and answers the call. And is still sitting down in his seat right next to me. And he answers the phone, and he's just like, hey, what's up? And it's just, I didn't hear what the other guy was saying at the other end. But the next thing, the words out of his mouth next, just I'm like, are you kidding me? Because he said, dude, I am in a movie right now. I can't talk. While he's sitting right next to me. Like, you might as well have had a megaphone because he wasn't even whispering, you know? And he's still sitting there talking on the phone. And then he's just kind of like, then after a minute, he looks at me and I just give him like a little death stare. And then he just kind of like walks out of the theater and gets like finishes his phone call. 20 minutes later, he comes back in and sits back down, asks me what I missed again. I'm just like, look,
you missed
I literally just said half of the movie. and he just like sits down and his phone goes off again.
Oh gosh, I would have.
Yeah, man. And he just left he didn't even finish the movie. Like after that, he's just like, dude, I can't talk. I'm like, bro,
what are you doing?
And at that point, he just left and then didn't come back.
Yeah.
So at least I got a good climax with the Avengers, but man, I was so tempted not to go back to the movies after that experience.
Listen, like, I don't mind, like, I cheered when Thor showed up in Avengers Infinity War. I cheered, right? I cheered in Dune Part 2 when Paul beats Feyd-Rautha. Like, it's okay for these movies. Like, it is a group experience and all that. And so there is certain parts where I'm like, I get it. Like, I get why people cheer and all that. It's just when it becomes constant and all that.
Yeah.
And you're not even trying to hide it. Like, you're not trying to hide your phone. You're not trying to hide, talking and everything. It's just, I don't know. It becomes exhausting. And so, and maybe I'm being a Karen for this and all that. But I think you had a great idea how to fix this. You said, bring back ushers.
Yeah, I think that bringing back ushers will help with that. It's not like a, one-stop shop to solve everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it would help, just someone in the middle of a movie theater, like going up to someone obviously on their phone or talking and just kind of like nudging them. Or, honestly, there should be like say if you're a doctor or something, you should be allocated a seat or something like right by the exit where you can just like check your phone and it's like out of the way and you like hide it and you can just like be able to move over to the side, and not make a big deal out of it. But ushers, I think, would be so nice so no one has to leave the theater and ruin their own experience because someone's already there acknowledging like, hey, bro, you shouldn't be doing that. I work here. You should not be doing that.
Yeah, and it's the same, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, unless you're in a movie theater with your buddies and you're all alone and there's no one else in there, like, yes, then you can talk and all that. But, like, it never makes sense to me if, like, that might be someone's first time seeing that movie. And they don't want to get interrupted and all that. And so, I think ushers are smart. I would be mean and be like, take people's photos away. Like, just do it. Like, especially at fan events, like, thank God when we went to go see Dune Part 2, we were sitting next to, like, good people. But even, like, at early screenings like that, take people's phones away.
Hey, honestly, at fan screenings, though, I highly recommend, if you ever can, if there's a movie coming up that you really want to see, go to a fan screening.
Oh, yeah.
I've never been in a more respectful audience than in a fan screening.
Mm-hmm.
With Dune Part 2, so respectful.
Yeah.
Like, even, it was kind of like you look at someone that was walking in and they kind of like reeked of weed and all that. And you can't like, yeah, it's just like you judge a book by its cover kind of thing where you're like thinking, oh, they're probably going to be talking in the movie theater. And it's just kind of like, no, they didn't. Everyone was so respectful. Same thing with Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. And then, was there another fan screening we went to recently?
Oh, man, I'm trying to see. We went to Oppenheimer last year.
Yeah, I don't think that was a fan screening, though.
Oh,
but, yeah, no, the two fan screenings we went to recently, though, those, so respectful.
Mm-hmm.
So respectful, and I love it, and the reactions were wonderful. Everyone knew, like, that, you can react to something, but don't try to make yourself the center of attention or like, go out of the way to do that. So, I think bringing back ushers would be wonderful. to get people to go back to the theater for maybe certain events or movies, like, and they're not like emergency workers or anything like that. Yeah, maybe take their phones away or have some sort of thing where there's no signal, or, kind of like how it's just,
Oh, yeah.
just like a solid confined space that's just, you paid for this experience. Everyone should
Enjoy this
yeah,
experience.
exactly, and be fully immersed, so it's like, yeah.
Put your phones away. Wait, you know what just happened recently? We went to go see, what movie did we just go see?
Furiosa.
Furiosa. We went to go see Furiosa. And what played beforehand was a little clip from it, not from the movie, but Deadpool and Wolverine breaking the fourth wall and be like, "Are you on your phone? Like, are you kidding me? Like, F you and everything."
Yeah, Wolverine's just like, I'm gonna kill you.
He's dumb. I love that though. And then I looked around, I'm like, everyone better be off their phones.
You know what? Honestly, I would not complain if they just had that for every movie ever in perpetuity. Like, just like, every single time. If Wolverine tells you to shut up and turn your phone off, you do it.
It's the new Nicole Kidman.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's Australians. Australians are the answer to everything.
I knew it.
Maybe I'm just on Mad Max highs. But little side note, watching the Mad Max movies for the first time. Like, I've seen Fury Road and Furiosa just now, but I've never seen the original 3 with Mel Gibson. So be on the lookout for a video where I'm reviewing those coming out soon. But yeah, going back to theater experiences, another thing that's pulling people away is the fact that VOD, they know that movies are going to be coming out like a month later, if not a few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
What happened to the days where it felt like, there was a whole eternity before it came out on, home release. Instead, now it's just, oh yeah, depending on how it does at the box office after like 2 weeks, they'll decide VOD. Come on, you should be doing a second marketing push to really get people, now that you have more reviews out there, what you can work with, and you can put more footage out there because, a lot more people are doing that anyway online. So take advantage of that. Get people to go to the theater. You make more money that way. VOD, yeah, you make money, but you're really shooting yourself in the foot with, like, not making as much money as you would in a theater.
Yeah, honestly, it's because they shortened the window, right? It used to be like 90 days till a movie came out, and now I think it's 60 days, right? Or even less than that sometimes. Like, we just saw that Challengers was like on Vudu to buy.
Well, yeah, to rent. Yeah.
To rent. But still, like, it's just, yeah, I think, I don't get it. Like, I'll never understand the streaming world or how these big companies look at it. Especially the ones that do straight to, like video. Like, we had the whole Dune Part 1 situation where it came out day and day release. I will not go into that anymore. But even, like, Netflix and Glass Onion, like, do a 2-week release and it made $15 million. That's 15 more million than you would have. Or, Disney Plus and Turning Red. Like, I just don't get, you don't get any benefit from it because people know it's coming out straight there. So
yeah, and it's ridiculous to me. I mean, also with these plans with AMC A-List and, like, whatever Regal has set up and Movie Pass, it's like people might have used, say, their first few movies on 1 week, and they're saving it to see another time. You don't know that. So I always think, opening weekend numbers, definitely good statistic to have, but don't let it be your, like, die on a sword statistic. Like, if you don't get a good opening weekend, look at Elemental.
yeah,
That's one that thrived internationally and kind of a little bit domestically once the word got out that was a really good movie. So, I mean, seriously, it's an era of patience. I know that in this society we live in now, like, people want things immediate, like immediate gratification. But with stuff like this where you're spending this much money on a movie, where movies cost so much more money than they actually should be costing. I mean, it doesn't make sense. It's so stupid that you would be like wanting to drain your your bank account like to make movies when you don't want the money to make more, or like to at least make a profit on them.
Yeah, I think it's also like, it's obviously you have to gamble for it too. How well is this movie gonna do? Like Dune Part 2, I honestly feel like it could still be in theaters even longer. I know we had a friend that works in the IMAX theater, and he's like, yeah, they're still running some of it. And I'm like, that's good. Like, it should be still running and everything. But yeah, I agree. These movies that are going straight to streaming, let's take Red One, the Dwayne Johnson movie. Now, granted, there's other stuff surrounding this movie that's inflated its budget, but it's going to make no money. Like, who's going to sign up? I believe it's Prime. Who's going to sign up for Prime?
Is it Netflix?
Oh, it's Prime or Netflix. It's one of those two. But who's going to sign up for that for Red One? Sorry, Dwayne Johnson. I love you, but I just don't think,
Yeah.
a Christmas movie like that is going to pull numbers in and everything.
Yeah, I mean, if someone has like an ad tier of like whatever streaming service, I could see some sort of benefit. But a lot of people, are moving away from that. Although in this economy, there's a lot of people that are falling back on those ad tiers, and maybe they're trying to take advantage of that while they can.
Mm-hmm.
But still, again, you make more money at the theater. It's empirical evidence. Like, it's right there. It's, it's not like it's a hidden thing that you can make more money doing this than that.
What are your thoughts on like Netflix? Netflix obviously is like the number one streamer and all that. And recently they announced Cobra Kai. I get it's not a movie, it's a TV show, but Cobra Kai is actually season 6, 7 is actually releasing in 3 parts. So one's coming out in June, the next one's in November, and then the following one is in March. And so they're releasing, it's 15 episode season, so they're releasing 5 at a time.
So is that like in the theater, or is that just like with streaming?
Just on streaming. So it's like, oh, you have to keep Netflix for this long to make sure you watch the whole season.
Okay, that's interesting. Like, I mean, maybe I think it's just more so they want to stretch it out, like kind of like have it be a marketing campaign of its own, and just kind of stretch out the like, hey, we got to get people talking about Cobra Kai, like leading up to the movie.
Yeah.
That's going to be coming. Like, honestly, it's already well into production, I believe.
Yeah, I think they pushed it because they split Cobra Kai so up. So I think it's next year, but...
Yeah, so, I mean, I'm not too surprised by this move, because they just wanted to perfectly transition into there, kind of like how, as much as I hate it, how The Rise of Skywalker was transitioned into from The Mandalorian, So, I mean, I don't know. I mean...
It's a smart move, maybe?
It's not like the smartest move, but it's not like, not the smartest.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. Like,
what do you think about I mentioned Glass Onion earlier, the Knives Out series, and we got a third one announced, Dead Man Wake Up. Do you think they do a longer period in the movie theater? Because Glass Onion was 2 weeks, $15 million.
Limited release too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you'd be dumb to, like, you made $15 million on the one that you did. If I made $15 million by, opening and closing a door, you bet I'm going to open and close that door as many times as I can. That's a very luxurious door.
Like, they did like a month. Like, why not? You could make more money. People love the Knives Out series too.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Rian Johnson, phenomenal. I don't care what y'all say about The Last Jedi. Eat it. So...
I don't like The Last Jedi, everyone. So, but I don't think Rian Johnson's a bad director. Please don't throw tomatoes at me.
No, but I think that it's just, you'd be stupid not to put it into, like, have a traditional theatrical run for this movie. I what can we do to really like resolve that? Like, besides the simple fact of, hey, you need to release your movies in theaters longer. What are you doing with VOD? Like, what do you think is going to be the big thing that will solve all this?
Well, I'll be honest, I think it is changing in a new direction. Especially like look at Disney, and when Turning Red came out and Elemental came out and Luca came out, they really screwed over Pixar basically. And I think they realized, oh shoot, if we put our movies straight to streaming, it won't do well. Like, who would have thought? And so I do think the tide is kind of changing in that way. I do fear that if they do a Princess Diaries 3, it's going to be a straight to streaming movie. I pray that it's not. But I think it's also just being smart with your marketing campaign and also gambling on it. Like, make good movies and people will watch them. And then also have a good marketing campaign too.
You know what? I've actually seen more articles brought up where it's like, hey, because I was getting this whole vibe from the studios and production companies, around the country and generally the world, like the fact that, oh yeah, people are finally starting to realize that we just want good movies. Like, it doesn't matter why, like, if it's based on an IP or not, like, we just want good movies. Like, Everything Everywhere All at Once is proof of that, with how much money that made. While also, say certain superhero movies, or a certain sci-fi fantasy franchise, makes a crap ton of money too. Like, I was under this impression that we were moving more towards this direction where it's like, yeah, make good movies, make good money. And now I've been seeing more in the trades of like the companies getting the wrong impression, where it's like, oh, we're in this era of established IPs, no more original. I'm like, guys, this is what's been going on for decades already. There's nothing new about this. Like, everyone wants an established IP. Yes, like, it's not a new trend. We're trying to get away from that trend to establish our own IPs. And it's frustrating. It's just Hollywood doesn't learn.
Yeah. I agree and disagree, because I do think you got to make a good movie. Well, Zack Snyder, Rebel Moon, a whole different IP basically. It wasn't connected to anything. It's a bad movie though, so it didn't do well, and people don't care. So I agree. If you're gonna make original content, you do have to make it good. But I also think IPs aren't. I don't think it's bad. It's Furiosa, for example. That's an established IP, but that movie is awesome. Like, it's so much fun. And Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, like, people do like those movies and all that. And I'm not saying, like, don't create original movies, but I guess I'm kind of on the fence of when it comes to that argument.
Yeah, I'm, like, what I'm saying more so is that I'm frustrated by the fact that they, rather than get, like, hey, no matter what it is, we can make, like, it needs to be based off an IP.
Yeah.
That's what their mentality is going, after.
And it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have to be.
No.
There can be bad original movies. There can be bad movies based on IP. But, I mean, if you just focus on the IP one, then you're going to have less original movies that are going to be made that have that chance of being their own IP.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, though, whether you're based on an IP or not, I just want a good movie. And that's what a lot of people have been voting on with their wallets. And Hollywood still isn't really getting it. And it's frustrating because it's like the evidence is right there for you. And I get it's a subjective business, but there's some objective aspects that you should be able to catch on to. So
everyone doesn't learn though.
It doesn't. And that's why a lot more people are turning to, say, like, foreign films and like stuff, independent stuff that's sneaks up on them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We're just two people in chairs here talking in a microphone. We don't run the studios.
Go see Furiosa, go see Challengers, go see Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Speak with your wallet.
Like I think you should leave like Tim Robinson, where he's like going up to the drive-thru. It's like, Go see MyAdventuresWithSuperman. Go see MyAdventuresWithSuperman. Go see it 55 times. Go see 55 times.
Superman. Wow. Editing in this is gonna be so fun.
I saw the audio spike. Oh God, we just get smashed.
Adobe products, I love you.
Yeah, but I mean, I really think another aspect that would help theaters though is really leaning into premium experiences like Dolby and IMAX.
Oh yeah.
I think those aspects really make going to the theater so much better. And don't get me wrong, standard is still, a good experience, but I think that you would definitely get a lot more people going back to the theater if they knew for a fact that they were going to get like something that they couldn't do at home, right? With IMAX and Dolby, I feel like that audio is very hard to replicate unless you have your own like really top of the line home theater, but with a regular movie going experience in a regular theater, it's essentially almost the equivalent of a basic surround sound system. It's just a little louder and you just have a bigger screen.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just kind of like, oh no, is it worth me paying a large sum of money, which I would say now it is large because you're paying like almost $20 for a ticket now.
Yeah, and if you don't have like A-list and all that.
Yeah, which by the way, this boy just signed up for A-list.
There we go.
Yeah, we love our AMC A-list. Not sponsored, by the way. Not sponsored.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, you hear that, AMC? Come and knocking at my door.
I love you, AMC.
Please. But no, I there's so many ways we could get people going back to the theaters, and it really seems that theaters and studios are really their own worst enemies right now.
Yeah.
Making things so much. I mean, you got the Doom popcorn bucket, and other popcorn buckets and merchandise that people were able to buy in the theater. It was doing really well. And what they do with the next round of movies, next time I saw like a popcorn bucket that was interesting, they made it like $50.
Oh,
I'm like, really?
Was it the Garfield one?
I don't know. I have no idea what the Garfield was worth, but if that thing was worth $50, it's definitely because of the Chris Pratt fee. That's all I'll say about that. But no, I think it was the Ghostbusters one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Ghostbusters.
Yeah, like where was the ghost catcher or whatever.
Oh.
And it's like, that's so cool that you would get so many people buying that, except you made it like $50, $100. Like, what are we doing here, guys? I'm not paying that much for a popcorn bucket.
Only for the Dune popcorn bucket.
Anyone would pay for that experience. So I hope that with Deadpool and Wolverine, they'll make those popcorn buckets. No, I hope they make them the subjectivity.
Oh my God,
I really hope that they make them suggestive, because that's on brand. But what I hope they don't do is make them $50.
Yeah.
That would really turn so many people off from such a great, marketing idea.
We need someone to send us a popcorn bucket.
We're that desperate. We don't use Tinder. We use popcorn buckets. Welcome to the Cassette Take podcast.
Where you can eject wherever.
Oh my gosh, wait, hang on. That's disgusting. Did you say where you can inject wherever?
No, oh, man. Let's wrap this up.
Okay. We're going to have to change a few branding things here at the podcast. But yeah, thank you for joining us on this episode of Cassette Take. And, let us know your thoughts on movie theaters. What are any ideas about how we can bring people back to the theater? Any ideas of, how the balance of streaming and theatrical runs should go? How long each should be? Any ideas of how to keep people to shut their mouths and keep their phones in their pockets outside of an Australian actor telling you with his metallic claws that can be easily turned into Heineken cans? If you've seen the commercial, you know what I'm talking about.
You just hear duct tape in the background, just like...
Maybe that, just play the audio of that. It's like, there's no one there, but there could be. The true horror film. But yeah, hey, no matter what your thoughts are, let us know your takes on our tapes in those comments down below. And that'll do it. That'll wrap up things for us on this tape.
There we go.
Yeah. Annmarie, any final notes here?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna never live this down, am I?
No, you are not. Well, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Cassette Take podcast, where you can eject
There you go.
wherever you want. But please don't forget to rewind. I've been Ethan.
I'm Marie.
And you all don't inject things into stuff you don't know about.
Ew.
Have a wonderful day.
Gross.